I have one job, and that's making sure that you are prepared. You know what's coming, and that is what I'm here to do today. We are going to be talking about the 2025 fashion trends that you need to know about. None of all these other ones. People are saying stripes are in, polka dots are in, great. Okay, we're not interested in those. I want to know the ones that either I want to be a part of or I want absolutely nothing to deal with, but I need to be prepared to see this around. That's what I'm delivering today. Guys, if you are new here, my name is Cassie and I'm a self-diagnosed luxury addict. I put out videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, so if you like luxury fashion, then you're probably going to love it here. So head down there, subscribe, turn on the bell, become a member of our luxury addicted family. When are we going to rehab? Never. Trend number one, sheer layers. Sheer has been a trend that's been sort of creeping around over the last few years. Naked dresses and, you know, things, very little being left to the imagination in some cases. But for spring-summer 2025, we're seeing a lot of sheer pieces being layered, which might make you feel a little bit more comfortable. I think it also gives an interesting element to add to a look, right? Keeps us on our toes, I would say. It can be sheer on top of sheer, it can be sheer on top of opaque pieces, so you don't have to feel so exposed. Prada did this over as like a sheer dress that was a topper on top of what looked like either a green catsuit or top and leggings situation, unclear. Hermes had sheer trousers with like opaque big pants and underwear underneath, sheer skirts. My favourite was the sheer polo shirt, sort of cropped situation over a bralette. I was like, that is something that I can copy and paste straight into a look. That's something that I would wear. I like that because especially at that time of year, you're going to be hot and bothered. Okay, I want the air flowing, but I might just not want to be out here full on bralette. Let me put a little sheer topper on top and we get the vibe without feeling so exposed. Delcourt did sheer skirts and shorts layered over opaque versions, sometimes contrasting as well, which can keep things, again, a little bit interesting. It doesn't have to be monochromatic. Brandon Maxwell did a few sheer pieces, but my favourite was the sheer blazer. I just think that it looked clean and chic and once again a lighter version of a wardrobe staple that you can do a lot with. On the topic of sheer, lace also popped up a bit here and there. We saw lace tights in the Valentino show, lace dresses at Saint Laurent and Gucci. Prepare to be seeing lace a lot come 2025. The next trend ties in with fashion's latest obsession with sport, right? In 2024, LVMH was the biggest sponsor of the Paris Olympics. We've seen a lot of sports personalities being brand ambassadors at various different brands, huge brands. This is no secret that the Venn diagrams of fashion and sport are overlapping more and more. Well, in 2025, we are seeing I would say a bigger focus on sort of motorsports and F1 specifically. A lot of these sporty looking graphics. There was a lot of this in the Dior show. There were racing stripes on nylon sort of Bermuda shorts. I liked those. There were also racing stripes down a flip-flop boot hybrid situation. Interesting. There were checkered flag details on leather skirts. There was it looked to be a full leather look that looked like it was copy and paste straight out of Talladega Nights. You get the point. There was a lot of this sort of racing motif. Then you have a brand like Vaquera, who had this top that was sort of littered in fictional sponsorships like love and passion. But again, it's that sort of like, it looks like a sport. If you don't look too closely, you might be like, oh yeah, I saw that worn by insert F1 driver's name here. Loewe also had tops and skirts made of literal feathers, printed on top with this sort of motocross racing graphic front and center. So prepare to be seeing more sponsorships of luxury and sport, and then also seeing this through actual, you know, pieces. Clear shoes. I may be delivering bad news here, but I do have some light at the end of the tunnel. Yep, PVC shoes are still kicking around, promising us nothing but pain and condensation. Chloé has got a lot of PVC shoes clip-clopping down the runway. They've done a peep toe slingback PVC version of their wedge that was released as part of their first season under Chimena Kamali as creative director, with the biggest, sort of chunkiest wooden wedge that has little debossing in it that looks like etchings on the side of a tree. They also have these sort of flip-flop sandals in a sort of jelly shoe with a sorry excuse for a heel and an ankle strap. Honestly, I have beef with all of the Chloé shoes in this collection, but that's just for me to deal with. We then also see this at Alaïa, but they've done these sort of, it's got a toe ring, it's a sandal, and then you just have this massive piece of PVC right around the foot that I don't think looks good, let alone we know will be comfortable. Like, I can see that digging in. Okay, so there's that. But as a bit of hope, both Gucci and Saint Laurent have adopted a clear shoe in a different way. They have brought out these pointed toe pump style shoes with a clear wedge. It gives this sort of impossibility. Oh my gosh, is she walking on her tiptoes? How could she do that? An optical illusion, right? Very similar sort of offerings across both brands. You got a bit of choice. This I can get behind. I think that they're interesting, and I think that crucially, they are also wearable. Sporty jackets. Okay, tying back into that sport thing before. This is a great transitional seasonal piece, and we're seeing this across a lot of brands. I've got a lot of examples to show you. Usually like a nylon-y, anorak-y, throw on and go, and yet you still have a level of fabulousness about your look. Tend to be bomber styles, utilitarian looking. There is going to be a plethora to choose from. And again, it's an easy piece to have in your wardrobe to bring out time and time again, and that's why I think that it's a good one. So Bottega did this in a sort of tan colour. It looked also to be maybe cotton with this checkered or plaid lining that you know reveals itself through a popped collar or whatever else. The Attico have also done these in these very oversized nylon versions with a big sort of sporty stripe across in a navy and a beige. Ralph Lauren has been doing this cut. It's a very simple, just zip up, no added pockets, no crazy oversized cut. For a while, I feel like this has always existed as part of the Polo Ralph Lauren offering. But what I liked was how they styled it on the runway with a maxi skirt. So it sort of felt a little bit more formal, a little bit more elevated. And I just thought that that was an interesting way to style it. Miu Miu will also be having a few of these again, a little bit more of that oversized cut. Speaking of oversized, Schiaparelli that is an absolutely ginormous sporty looking jacket, but it's glorious. Of course it is, because they do proportions so well. Anyway, you've got that signature charms hardware down the zip pull, giving a pop of gold. You know, it's almost an emotional support hoodie. Maybe that's how I will justify it to myself, because it's so big and cozy and fabulous. Then we have Mugler. Little bit of a different way that I would say that they're doing this. In a khaki, huge shoulders nipped in at the waist, what they do best. Tolu Coca also, I think the style sort of fits within this, where you've got that sort of anorak-y vibe, but cut in a little bit more of a tailored way so that you have that hourglass shape. Bak Mai has done it, and again, in a satin, something that feels a little bit more dressy, okay? The sports jacket can work day or night. They're giving us loads of options. Rabanne also did this in a two-tone black and beige and a light blue with sort of metallic interior. So again, that sort of pops depending on how she, you know, reveals herself. But I think that's a great piece that if you're thinking of adding something, it's something that you'll get a lot of use out of. Next up, we have the Humble tank top. Yes, something that we probably all have, which is great, because it's great when you don't have to all of a sudden like go out and buy. Follow trends if you want to follow trends. Don't follow trends if you don't want to follow trends, okay? Half of these are just like inspiration to take whatever you have and maybe rework it in a different way, or if you're looking to add something, what might make sense. But chances are you already have one, so we're one step ahead. So Dior did a sort of crystal bodysuit version of this. This is obviously the most extreme version. She's embellished, she's over the top. Aaron Esch also, shout out, he did very sheer versions. Ralph Lauren did a similar thing that they did with that sports jacket, which is they styled it with this very sort of embellished, very formal looking maxi skirt. And I liked that because it made it feel, pairing it with the tank top, made it feel a little bit cool, made it feel a bit unexpected, but it still looks fabulous. Rabanne did once again, a crystal tank top with a chainmail sarong skirt. Stella McCartney did this with graphics that said mother across the top. We also have a brand like Wiederhoft who have done heiress in crystals that, again, do I need? Possibly. I feel like, do I need? I possibly need. Prabal Gurung also did these versions where it's sort of ombre, opacity and sheer. So you kind of have this interesting details that create a V within the tank for something that's a little bit different to your normal sort of ribbed white tank. Suede. I've spoken about this in a video that I did about bag trends coming next year. I'll have that link below if you haven't seen it. But whether it is the Western trend influence or the sort of boho trend that's coming back with full force, we're seeing a lot of suede, especially for spring-summer. And this is where it's a little bit like, oh my gosh, usually for spring-summer we want light and airy. And suede is seen to be an autumn-winter fabric. But nevertheless, it's coming. The Queen of Boho, Chimena Kamali, the new creative director of Chloé, this was littered throughout the show. It's paired with these light, you know, pieces that look like butterfly wings, just, you know, flapping in the air. Saint Laurent also did it with an 80s twist. These tiered dresses that were flowy and down that, you know, bohemian route with these harsh leather jackets. I don't think there was any suede there. I don't know why I felt the need to mention it. You know what? This trend is suede / boho. There we go. Thank you very much. In terms of bags, one particular Prada bag, the searches have shot up recently, and it's the suede little shoulder bag that has a sort of skinny little belt detail that goes around it. This is really gaining in popularity, and again, specifically in the suede style. It's nice when we have those fabrics that maybe we attribute to certain times of the year, if we can see inspiration of that into the other seasons so that we can elongate the wear of our pieces. Florals for spring, groundbreaking. Yes, we say this joke every time. However, I do have some examples of it being done in a way that's not just flowy dress, sodden, small floral prints on it. First of all, Loewe. Loewe love a flower. Loewe love nature, they love florals. They've been doing florals in different ways over the past few years. And this time you almost have a dress that looks sort of like a circus tent with this hoop detail, a circus tent / jellyfish, right? And then you just have the lightest little fabric bouncing along as you go with a floral print. Duran Lantink. First I've ever heard of this brand, and the sexiest way I think I've ever seen florals done. Personally, when I think of florals, I don't see them in a sort of sexy light. Okay, but I saw this that has the cutouts and I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? And I thought that it was really quite fab. Victoria Beckham, abstract florals done in these like tops that look impossible. It's like, how is this top staying on there? How does it look like it's almost been picked up by a gust of wind like a plastic bag, you know? How have they managed to do that? I love it. I thought it was great and sculptural and interesting. And again, you have these sort of pulled florals that really add to the sort of movement of the top. You also have Acne, who did this on the interior of their jeans. So the way that it's folded at the bottom, you get a bit of a floral print. I liked that. Again, I'm not somebody that's going to go for like a floral dress, but I like these sort of different interpretations of it. This sort of goes in with florals, but there's this sort of ladylike trend, a little My Fair Lady vibe. And this is your sort of quintessential ladylike cuts and accessories. I'm personally going to focus on the accessory side of things because I think that that's where things are interesting. Like, oh yeah, simple cut shift dress, little black dress, great. But I'm talking about the accessories that would really level you up if you were attending an afternoon tea. Gloves. Gloves are a big one, and I feel like over the last sort of year or so we've seen gloves here and there, but there is such a wide variety that we're now seeing on the runway. You've got these sort of long opera gloves with a belt detail at Coperni that come across a little bit more edgy. Gucci is doing fingerless gloves. I love a good fingerless glove. I have one pair, I chose the wrong colour. Why did I choose blue? Why didn't I just get a pair of black fingerless gloves? I don't know. But I'm really excited about the ones that Gucci's coming out with. You know, it makes me think of Karl Lagerfeld and his signature look. Paris Hilton also does the fingerless glove thing a lot. And I'm excited to see more in different colours and just an interesting accessory to add to a look. Valentino was doing lace gloves. Wiedehoff did these over-embellished gloves that some of them are made of literal rocks. Okay, like actual pink little rocks adorning the gloves. You're also seeing, as part of this trend, these sort of very demure looking hats. Gucci did these sort of, I'm not a hat person, so I couldn't tell you if this is a style of hat. It's got a decent sized brim. It almost looks like, you know, it's sort of shielding the eyes from anything. It looks mysterious, it looks elegant. Louis Vuitton Resort collection also did these very sort of, they were put on a little bit skew with, again, these sort of formal like hats that look like, I don't know, something like Grace Kelly would wear. She probably wouldn't. Those sorts of accessories. And finally, inflatables. Do you remember not too long ago when we were buying bags that could double up as pillows? And whilst that trend isn't around so much, we are moving that into other areas of fashion. We've seen bubble hems a lot towards the end of 2024, that very 80s vibe. Christopher Esper, this little bubble mini dress that almost looks like a sort of half deflated balloon. Other ways that we're sort of seeing this though, I'm not a bubble hem sort of person. Like, I don't want a mini skirt that looks like a bubble hem, whatever, that's just a personal thing. But New Arrivals, which is a brand that if you want like a party outfit, if you're looking for a dress for like your birthday look or whatever, New Arrivals is great. They have this skirt that has a bubble hem, almost peplum, and then a maxi skirt, and I thought that was really great. They also do it in a leopard. Wonderful. But I thought that, and they styled it with a turtleneck. What a look, glorious. So that's a different way that you can also interpret the trend. Rihanna was recently spotted in October in a Vaquera coat, this duvet coat. Again, it's bumph, it's inflated, it's cozy. Norma Kamali's sleeping bag coat is famous for this very purpose. It's this sort of duvet-like coat. She does cropped versions, long versions, hooded versions. I think this is the year that I finally cave and get myself one. Really great, a real sort of like iconic piece of fashion as well, if you're into that. And then you also have a brand like Alaya that came down with this, like, is it a dress, is it a jacket? It's probably like a dress on a model and a jacket on anybody else. What do we say, it's sort of Michelin Man inspired, maybe a little bit. This white, puffy, that. There you go. Which trends are you looking forward to in 2025, and which ones do you want to stay clear away from? I'm going to leave a link to another video over here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon or evening wherever you are, and in the words of my father,
if you've enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you haven't, keep your mouth shut.
I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye guys.